Thank you, Senator Rubio. I'll have a series of questions. I want to stick with you for a minute, Secretary Nichols. As I mentioned in my opening remarks, Senator Rubio and I have introduced the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative Authorization Act. It's bipartisan. We believe we're on a good path on this. We were trying to get it connected to the National Defense Authorizing Act. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that. But I wanted to ask you a question about Assistant Secretary Robinson. We've referenced him during this hearing. He was unable to join today for the reasons that you described. But our federal law enforcement agencies are focused on firearms trafficking. And can you briefly describe what the department's role is in combating firearms trafficking to Haiti and the Caribbean region?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Department of State has supported, alongside with Department of Homeland Security, FBI, and the Department of Justice, the creation of the Transnational Criminal Investigative Unit within Haiti. There's also the Gun Crime Investigative Unit in Port of Spain, Trinidad. We are providing training and access to the E-Trace software platform that allows police officers anywhere in the world to trace the serial numbers of weapons found at crime scenes for investigative purposes. You referenced in your opening statement, Mr. Chairman, the new coordinator position within the Department of Justice, which we think is going to be a very important tool in aiding prosecutions of straw purchasers. The Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which this body passed, and thank you very much for that, provides important tools that allows us to prosecute straw purchasers of weapons that are used in crimes overseas, who have the knowledge or expectation that the guns that they purchase would be used in a criminal activity. We have, I think, made important progress in attacking the gun trafficking into the region, but there is much, much more work to be done. And as you rightly signaled, this is a vital task for this administration and our partners around the region. And I know, sir, that you personally heard this from our partners during your trips and participation in the Summit of the Americas.
Again and again, I have heard this all throughout the region. You referenced earlier the UN Integrated Office in Haiti, which I think is referred to as the BNU, and the fact that the Security Council extended its mandate by a year. Share a little bit about what that integrated office does. What is the scope of their work?
So they coordinate the United Nations country team activities in Haiti, so all of their specialized agencies. They provide political mediation and intervention. They have dedicated police officers who provide training within the Haitian National Police, as well as some of their own site security. The number of police officers in the mission actually was nearly doubled in the renewal of the resolution, so they'll be able to do more things around training. The coordination of humanitarian efforts in Haiti, not just within the UN country team, agencies like World Food Program or UNICEF, also extends to other donors as well. And Assistant Administrator Escobari could tell you about how they work with BNU in that regard.
Excellent. You mentioned in your testimony, Secretary Nichols, the role of the Haitian diaspora in the United States. And I think that's an intriguing reference, that there's a significant diaspora in the DMV in this region. Senator Rubio talked about the diaspora, very significant in South Florida. Talk a little bit about how you see the role of the Haitian diaspora, Haitian Americans, in assisting a transition to a better chapter in the life of the country.
The Haitian diaspora, whom I've met with them in Miami, I've met with them here in this area, I've met with them in New York, virtual meetings with people around the country. They are an incredibly talented group, as you well know, business leaders, doctors, lawyers, dentists, and they want to help Haiti. They have economic resources, they have professional skills. Historically, we've worked with Haitian American police officers to support the Haitian National Police in the past. The ability of that community to provide assistance depends also on the security situation in Haiti. It has to be safe for them to travel there and work with Haitians in country around the broad areas of development. And we're proud to have Haitian Americans who work in the State Department and even on the Haiti account. So this is very important for us.
Excellent. I want to switch to humanitarian issues, Assistant Administrator Escobar. In my opening comments, I mentioned the fact that this latest spate of political unrest and violence following the assassination of the president, shortly following was an earthquake, but there has been even more recent challenges. Flooding and earthquake just in June of this year led to 55 deaths, but left more than 13,000 people homeless. And the UN indicated in a March 2023 report that gang violence had displaced at least 160,000 people. So the magnitude of this challenge is very striking, but your point was there are some good things going on. I thought the statistics that you referenced about the healthcare system, the percentage of Haitians that receive healthcare in clinics that have been supported by USAID, the work that's done between USAID and the Haitian government on healthcare facilities, I thought those were very powerful. How are these healthcare facilities operating in an environment where the gangs control so much of the country? Are healthcare clinics kind of viewed as safe spaces where the gangs have not overly interrupted their work, or are you seeing significant restrictions of the work of these facilities because of gang violence in the country?
No, thank you, Senator, for your question and your enduring support of Haiti. Health is probably the place where we are strongest in USAID. There's over 160 clinics that are run with support from USAID, and 90% of them are currently operational. And I think it's because of a mix of the things that you talked about. A lot of our partners come from those communities, work in those communities, and serve those communities. So I think that everybody is motivated to keeping them open, more so in the current circumstance. And they provide everything, right? They provide primary health. They were instrumental during the cholera outbreak. They are the first point of contact on response to gender-based violence. So they are really integral to these communities and have remained open even in the worst moments.
And are these facilities part of the government public health network, or are they facilities run by NGOs and nonprofit organizations?
There's a mix, but most of our support is supporting the Ministry of Health in Haiti. And this has been, investments for the last 10 years to not only build the capacity of the ministry and build that public health infrastructure, those norms for people to know how to respond to cholera. And really all of that investment has come to fruition in these institutions that were able to respond, and the government was able to respond during the recent cholera outbreak in October, and really keep deaths at the WHO, 1% fatality. 800 people have died of cholera in that recent outbreak. After 2010, it was 10,000. I'm just saying there's a big difference in how the government was able to respond to the crisis.
Right, and the U.S. investment, along with other partners in this public health infrastructure connected to the Ministry of Health that began a decade ago, was absolutely critical during COVID, for example. So before that, there might have been one-off clinics or people running health institutions, but not a robust public health infrastructure under the Ministry of Health. The creation of that architecture has helped with cholera, helps with the pandemic, helps under the HIV, helps under the current situation. But describe a little bit, because I think it's hard to wrap our head around the fact there is not a functioning democratic government in this sense. There is no elected official in Haiti right now who has a mandate. There have not been elections that have led to people serving terms pursuant to a mandate. So how does a Ministry of Health maintain itself? I mean, how does it fund the clinics? How does it provide security to the clinics so that gang violence doesn't interrupted. Describe that
Yeah.
a little bit.
Look, USAID works in very complicated places. You know, we work in South Sudan, we work in war zones in Ukraine, and we have learned to work with the partners that we have. And in Haiti, you know, and many times we work at the level of the community, and we work with the institutions and the civil servants that exist, and with partners that want to work with us. And we have found that, and I've met with the Minister of Health when I was there in January. They are partners in the provision of healthcare, in responding to the emergencies, and we have found partners like that in other institutions. And when we find those partners, you know, we double down on strengthening them, irrespective of sometimes of the instability at the national level.
I focus on the health issue because I think Senator Rubio correctly pointed out that before you get to significant economic activity, investment, or new elections, you have to have a base of security. And I would argue that a functioning healthcare system is another one of these preconditions. And so of all the things that we could do while we're looking for that next step forward, hopefully with a multinational force to provide security assistance, doing what we can do to continue to train police and maintain, through our assistance, this functioning healthcare network. Those are the two preconditions that if all else is not working, we have to make sure that those things work, because those will be the foundation upon which a political resolution will have to be built. Yeah. So I encourage USAID in that efforts, and I think you're right that of all the work that USAID does in Haiti and maybe many other countries, the healthcare work is probably the foundational work that's the most important. Let me ask you this. The GAO released a report in March that recommended that USAID and state improve the management and assessment of reconstruction activities. It looked at USAID's post-2010 earthquake investments and found that despite efforts of USAID to increase partnership with local entities to manage funding, and that is a capacity building as well as a service delivering value, the U.S.-based partners implemented the majority of the USAID reconstruction activities rather than local partners and received most of the funding obligated between 2010 and 2020. What might we do in reconstruction activities? Now we're talking outside the healthcare space, other kinds of civil society reconstruction activities. What might we do to increase localization efforts as a way of both delivering services and building capacity?
Thank you, Senator. And as you know, renewing our commitment to localization is part of our priority throughout the agency.
Right. Ambassador Power has stated that we should be doing 25%, a minimum of 25% of assistance going through local partners by 2024 throughout the USAID portfolio. And she often says that even 25% seems, low when we think that our major mission is to really create capacity in the places that we work on. So that is important for the agency, and it's still important and a priority for Haiti, even though we do have to acknowledge that localization involves more staff, more people, more money, which is challenging. All of those are challenging in Haiti. But despite those challenges, actually, Haiti had made a huge improvement just last year in doubling the percentage of funding that went to local partners from 10% to 22% from FY21 to 22. And we have established a new partner engagement unit within our mission to be able to work with civil society and really not only help them do their functions, but also work with them to help them work with us. We know we're sometimes an onerous organization because we have to account for every dollar of taxpayers, and we do so, but we're working to train those organizations to work with us, and we are making progress. Let me explore just one example during your opening testimony. I'm curious as to how this is being localized. You talked about USAID investments in micro-utilities for clean water access and possibly other utility service for hundreds of thousands of Haitians, and you used the phrase in your testimony that these investments were self-sustaining. Are these utility investments being done with local partners?
Well, these are run by communities. This is what, what we want to bring is institutionality, that these utilities can not only provide services, but that people are willing to pay for them. And that's what we have seen in these micro utilities, is that, they're not only functioning, providing drinking water, but they have a water meter. They have the capacity for people to pay online. So they have gone from really receiving nothing and being bankrupt to 3 of them, I think, have received over $70,000 in revenue. So they're self-sustaining, and same with sanitation and water management, which is really making a difference. Haitians are willing to pay for services if they are provided. And what we have done is help those be managed at the community level.
Thank you. Secretary Nichols, I was in the Dominican Republic in October and met with Prime Minister Abinader, and we talked about the Haitian Dominican border and some of the challenges, the percentage of births in Dominican hospitals that are to Haitian women who have fled across the border because they don't have any option that they find acceptable in Haiti, and that's a good thing that they have this option in the Dominican Republic, and it does create its own set of challenges. Talk to me a little bit about the Haiti-Dominican Republic relationship. Dominican Republic is a good ally of the United States. They're also a pro-democracy nation, having formed the Alliance for Development and Democracy in the region. Talk a little bit about Haiti and the Dominican Republic now. In the past, there have been challenges, court cases in the Dominican Republic and other efforts that were seen as sort of trying to, close off or reduce the historic sense of welcome that Haitians have found there. But talk a little bit about the current state of the relationship.
The Dominican Republic has been very vocal in their demanding, exhorting the international community to support Haiti. They have stressed that the global responsibility to help the Haitian people is something that they're focused on. They value. The Dominican Republic hosts thousands and thousands of Haitians, as well as many hundreds, thousands more people who have historic or ethnic roots to Haiti. They have provided training and assistance to the Haitian government over time. President Abinader, Foreign Minister Alvarez, in our conversations with them, repeatedly stressed the importance of providing assistance to Haiti. The future of the island of Hispaniola depends on a prosperous and successful Haiti, and the Dominican Republic, as prosperous and successful as it is and will become even more so, they need to have a neighbor that is stable and prosperous as well. I just note that we're very honored that I'm proud to hand over the chair of the summit coordination process for the Summit of the Americas to the Dominican Republic, which will host the next Summit of the Americas. As you alluded to, they've been very committed to strengthening democracy, human rights, the rule of law, and private sector-led growth in our region. So we consider them a valuable partner.
Excellent. Well, one of the things we can do, let me finish up with a question to both of you, the kind of wrap-up question, unless other colleagues come, and that is, what would you ask of Congress right now to enable you to do the work you need to do in Haiti? What could we be doing that would be more helpful? And I'll give you one answer. We had a really good hearing yesterday with ambassadorial nominee Haskins to be the ambassador to Haiti. It's always better to have a confirmed ambassador. Ambassador Haskins has served in Haiti earlier in his career, understands the situation, anxious to get back. We've had a little bit of a slowdown in some of the ambassadorial confirmations, particularly in the hemisphere, and I've done a lot of work with my colleagues to free up a number of them. But I think getting a confirmed ambassador in Haiti is something that would be a very important step for the Senate to take. But in addition to that, how about each of you take some time as we conclude and offer any additional comments you would have about things we can do to be helpful?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, I agree wholeheartedly with the importance of confirming Dennis to be our ambassador in Port-au-Prince. Beyond that, the renewal of hope and help legislation will be incredibly valuable to provide economic stability and economic growth for Haiti. I believe that we're currently well positioned to provide resources for a multinational force in Haiti. But this body's continued generosity in supporting our efforts to aid the Haitian people and provide security in Haiti are vital, and I thank you for your leadership on that and for this body's willingness to support that generously. The final note that I would make is broadly in our efforts to promote greater stability and security in challenging places around the world, resourcing our colleagues in diplomatic security to ensure that our people can be safe wherever they are in the world is very important. So thank you for your support, which has been steadfast in that area as well.
Virginia is home both to the training facility for the Marine security guards who provide security to embassies, but also the State Department Foreign Affairs Security Training Center in Southern Virginia. So we care very, very deeply about keeping our folks safe and are proud to host the security training facilities in the Commonwealth. Administrator Escobari, how can we be more helpful?
No, thank you so much, Senator, for that question. Let me reiterate what my colleague said. Hope help right now would be extremely valuable. You are correct that there are, certain things that are needed that are basic. Security is one of them, health is one of them, but things are still happening in Haiti. The worst of the violence is happening in Port-au-Prince. We work in the north and the south where people are still exporting their goods. They're producing 1 in every 2 jobs are in agriculture. People need those jobs, and the textile sector has employed at some point over 50,000 people. They work within free trade zones where they have some protection of institutionality, and I think those investors are making those decisions now, and your commitment to the continuation would send a really strong signal. The second thing would be engaging our, continue to bring attention, like with this hearing, to our international partners and the importance of them to join us. We are the largest donor, but this needs to galvanize the whole international community for us to make a difference, because the humanitarian needs are immense, and I do think that not all is lost, but we need to have sustaining power to make sure that we can continue to save lives as we try to turn the course of Haiti. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I know that I'm really looking forward to this report from the Secretary General, the recommendations back to the Security Council in mid-August, and I don't know that we'll have a hearing on that, but you can expect that we'll be reaching out to state once those recommendations are delivered to have further dialogue about whether, there seems to be a gelling plan to move forward. I mean, my assessment of this before today, but it's certainly been emphasized in your testimony, is that there are a number of partners that really want to participate in this multinational effort if it's scoped correctly, defined correctly, learn some of the lessons from some past challenges. I think the challenge is not finding willing participants. The question of leadership is a tough one, but at least there are partners around the table that want to participate, and that should give us hope. So I look forward to the report on the 15th and then further dialogue with you about how we can move forward to provide appropriate security assistance. I'm going to ask that the record of this hearing stay open until close of business tomorrow in case members who are not able to come would like to submit questions for the record. If they do, I would encourage you to respond fully and promptly. And with that, the hearing is adjourned.